Hello, Hannah. This is gonna have to be a fast video, but you know what? They're pretty much all have to be fast because I'm always busy. You would think I'd be less busy in the summer. I'm not. Until last year, I'd been a fair virgin. I'd never gone. But then you took that away from me. Of course. And you big slut. And this year, you and I went to the fair again. And it was very fun. We saw cows and goats and sheep, and we told them all, "You're a sheep. You're a goat." And I think everyone thought we were insane. We saw pig races, which was very cute, and the one we wanted to win won. We saw rabbits, and I wanted to take them all home, and I could have bought one, but I didn't, because what would I do with a rabbit, particularly when I go to Chicago? And we went on a Ferris wheel, which was fun, and then a killer Ferris wheel of doom, which was not fun, because the man would not let us off it, and it involved us just spinning around and you lying on top of me for the vast majority of it, and there was no seatbelts. Anyway, there was that. And we ate fantastic funnel cake. But the thing we started off the fair with was sheep racing, which is not the same thing as pig racing. You and I were thinking like, oh, it's gonna be some sheep's racing, or possibly it'll be some like grown, like trained people sitting on the sheeps racing them, right? No, it's children, random children from the fair that they just kind of say, hold on to the sheep, and then they let the sheep go, and the sheep goes running across this arena, and the child hangs on for dear life and falls off, and then gets trampled about 50% of the time. Only one child actually made it all the way across the arena, and then her sheep sort of ran into the pile of all the other sheep, and so then she fell off because the other sheep hit it, and then she got trampled by not just one, but an entire herd of sheep. It was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen, and yet we were watching it, and it was hard to look away. It was one of those things. But it made me think that, you know, in the medieval ages, they did like bear baiting and stuff, where they would have sort of dogs versus bear, and they would have a like chicken, I forget what they called it, but they had like sort of like chicken fighting, and you know, people still do dog fighting. And you know, you read about this in the medieval ages and you think like, oh god, that's horrible, like whoever thought that was entertaining? People used to go to hangings and like executions, that's awful. But seriously, have we changed? No. When Saddam Hussein was executed, what was the #1 video on YouTube? Why do so many little kids cartoons involve people getting hit with hammers and just getting hurt in various ways? Why do boys like action movies so much? And why were so many people such big fans of sheep racing? Which was, by the way, called Mutton Bustin. It's because people like seeing other people hurt, which I realize is kind of awful, but we do. I don't think we like seeing other people, for the most part, like, killed. Like, no one would have liked it if the little children had actually died. When you have someone hurt, and you see that they're not injured, you're kind of like, oh, that was funny. Because it's, you know, the German word for it, schadenfreude, taking pleasure in other people's pain. But more than that, it's just sort of like, we're not them, and that's why we like it. And we as humans have this weird like of violence, and we always have. So that's a happy thought. But you and I left the mutton busting because we were horrified once we figured out what it was. So there are some people in the world that don't want to see children trampled by sheep. What a terrible way to go. Trampled by sheep. I mean, that's up there on worst ways to die, I think. Okay, I have to go to a playwriting thing. Goodbye. And since yesterday was officially the last time I was gonna see you in person, have fun in Boston. I'll see you on video next week.